how our grants work. Tset is, because I get that question a lot, and when I'm at conferences, people walk by our booth and say test and run the other way. But we are Tset, and it stands for the Tobacco Settlement Endowment Trust. We actually came about because of a vote of there was a master settlement agreement when 6 of the states or so sued the tobacco industry, and those states that participated were given basically a pot of money. And Oklahoma did something very unusual with that pot of money. We actually took it to a vote of the people, and it was an overwhelmingly supportive vote in that the people voted to put the money in trust. And with the money being in trust, what's supposed to happen is that that money grows, and with the endowment as it grows, we are able to offer not so much programs, but what we offer is grants out to community partners in order to enhance the health of all Oklahomans. And we do have several brands that we have out there. You may see the commercials running that say that they're a program of Tset. One of the biggest ones that we have right now is one of the Shape Your Future ones that's talking about the water, about how we need to drink more water and give up those sugar-sweetened beverages. We also sponsor what we call the Oklahoma Helpline, which is the 1-800-QUIT-NOW. We do the Tobacco Stops With Me campaign. We have Tset Healthy Living grantees that are out there in 63 of the counties. And if you don't know if you have a Healthy Living grantee, please feel free to contact me, and my contact information will be up at the end. And we'll be happy to get you in contact with the Healthy Living grantee for your county. If not, I can be your technical advisor, and I can also refer you to the health department, and Julie Deering is our partner at the health department. And I also want to mention Certified Healthy Oklahoma program, because we are a partner in that program. And in fact, the Certified Healthy Oklahoma program has been around since 2003. It started with some key partners that not only included the health department, but also included the Turning Point Council, which is kind of a regional grassroots health promotion efforts that are based out of the health departments in the counties, the Academy for State Goals, and the Oklahoma State Chamber were kind of the founding partners of the Certified Healthy Oklahoma program. Certified Healthy Schools came along in 2011, I think 2011, and with that, being a certified healthy school is kind of the ticket for your district to be invited to participate with the Tset Healthy Schools incentive grants. We start with the district because that's where policy's passed. And you've heard a lot about wellness policy today. And with our district grants, it really is all about policy. It's having those policies in place that we know are either best or promising practices that's going to create a healthier environment for our children to go to school and learn, and also to support our staff. We also include an element about staff wellness in our policies that we want to see that we have everybody kind of at the table. So what's required in the Tset Healthy Schools in the district incentive grant policies? And like I said, we do start with the district because that's where that policy is passed. The requirement is a district has to have at least one certified healthy school in the district to be eligible to apply for the Tset incentive grants. One of the policies that we require is that your school have a 24/7 tobacco policy. I know many of you will say, well, yeah, we've had that, we've done that for years. But we actually, a lot of times with our policies, we want you to go above whatever's required, and we want you to go a little bit higher. For the 24/7 policy, we want you to also include vapor products, and that can include products with and without nicotine. We also want you to include that spitless tobacco or smokeless tobacco. And we really want, we don't expect for the school districts to be the policemen, but with signage, if you pass a Tset approved policy, we can tend to help you with getting signage so that you can put up on your school grounds. And I tell you, little kids are really good policemen when it comes to getting the adults to do what they're supposed to do. They'll come up and say, "You're not supposed to be doing that." Our district grant criteria, first and foremost, we've been pushing the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act stuff out there for several years. That's been one of the core pieces of the incentive grant policies, is that the district is in compliance with those Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. And as you know, being most of you child nutrition people, it kind of came on as the first year it was the healthy lunch, the next year it was healthier breakfast. Next year, then we had the whole grain, or actually whole grain rich requirement, then smart snacks, and now we have the marketing piece. So now we have the whole piece of the pie is together with the Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act. So with that, what we want to do is we want to see that your district is complying with all of those requirements from that Healthy Hunger-Free Kids Act, that you offer water to your students in the cafeteria, and free and available throughout the school day, that you participate with healthy snacks. We do allow for school districts, for our incentive grants, we do allow for school districts to have 2 parties where the exemptions are off from the smart snacks requirement. But you can have as many parties as you want as long as you're serving healthy items. So please know that. We do have a piece in there that we want the district to allow a school garden. Doesn't mean you have to have one, but we want the fact that the district would have would allow someone to start a school garden and would help support it with some resources. We also have a farm to school requirement in our incentive grants, that the district participate in farm to school or purchase, work with those vendors to highlight some of those locally grown to Oklahoma foods. So, if you're having, strawberries from Stillwell, make a day of it and really celebrate that you're having those, or peaches from Stratford or wherever. And of course, I always say that every school district in Oklahoma participates in farm to school, whether they know it or not. We don't go to Wisconsin to get our milk, and we don't go to Nebraska to get our wheat. It's all coming from somewhere in a local farmer somewhere in the state of Oklahoma. So please, just work with your child nutrition vendors, those distribution partners, to highlight when you're going to get something in, and make a day of it. Just say, hey, we're having, farm fresh strawberries from Stillwell, and we want you to really, play up the fact that that's where they came from. And you can play that in with a geography lesson. It's like, where is Stillwell, Oklahoma? We also require that districts allow community use of their facilities, and that does not mean you open the doors and you let everybody come in and you let people tear up your stuff. We understand that, resources that schools have are very precious. Safety always trumps. And, if a district has a facility use agreement, one of the things we like to do is see that cities participate with the local schools, and that they may do some recreation programs or something, maybe using some of the schools' either facilities or grounds. If there's an accessible walking track that maybe is not inside a stadium, but there's a walking track that's easy for the community to use, that you have it open and let the community use it. So we do ask for community use of facilities, and then we ask for some special stuff with physical education. I know you heard Darren talk this morning or this afternoon about kids being physically active at least 50% of PE time. Once again, we ask for a little bit more. We want our kids to be active at least, or actually more than 50% of the time. So it's really just about taking what we have and enhancing it a little bit. So we do have some special things that we want to see about physical education. We want our kids to be up and active during presentations. And we haven't had a physical activity break and you're falling asleep. So let's go ahead and stand up real quick. I promise we're not going to do a real long one. But you know what? Our Thunder is in the playoffs, and they need some help. They need some help. So let's everybody shoot a couple of baskets, okay? We'll do some free throws. All right, everybody do two free throws. So you dribble your ball, you look at that basket, you take your ball, and you throw it in the basket. Okay, let's do it one more time, because we got 2 free throws. Okay. And you know what? April had her baby. April the giraffe. So let's just practice some giraffe neck hugs. So just kind of lean up and over. So giraffe neck hugs. There we go. And one of my favorite ones is penguin high five. So, just somewhere with you, someplace close, if you can just kind of waddle and then just do, a penguin high five. Okay? Come on, y'all can do that. Now, see, y'all laughed. See, it's fun. And your kids like a break, too, so y'all can have a seat now. So that's kind of what we want to see with the incentive grants. We want to make sure that our kids get some physical activity during the school day, that you're offering programs, that we get those kids up and moving because we know that they learn so much better. And it really helps with their academic performance if we can get them up and moving. Once a district has been funded, then we offer school grants. Whoops. Oh, where did it go? There we go. Okay.
Go up to slideshow.
Slideshow.
Click up to your right.
Oh, there we go.
There, click there. Then down to presenter view. There you go.
Okay. Sorry, technology is never my friend here. There we go. Well, that went the wrong way.
Did it start from the beginning?
Oops.
Just hit
Let's
the
see.
cursor or the return button.
There we go. Yeah, and one to advance. Wait. Okay, there I got it. All right. Okay, once a district has been funded, and all of our grants are enrollment-based or population-based, and even the grants that we do out in our communities tend to be population-based. So with the incentive grants, once the district's funded, then the individual schools themselves that are certified healthy can apply for their own school funding. And what we want to see in those incentive grants is really a lot about, like we've already talked about certified healthy schools, but basically what we do with the school incentive grants is we have you really show us or tell us how you're doing those wonderful programs and how you're improving health at your school site. For our school grants, we have 3 levels. We have 1 star, 2 star, and 3 stars. And it's really, especially our first level, is really about implementation. It's having you really describe to us how you're implementing those wonderful policies that we had your district pass. I always tell our grantees, that piece of paper, that policy is only as good as that piece of paper it's written on if it's not implemented. So what we want to do with our school grants is really have you implement those policies, and we know that sometimes it takes a little funding to move things along. So with the implementation, what we want you to do is document how you're doing things, and a lot of it is just describe and take pictures. So I promise when people look at these school grants, they think it's a lot harder than it really is. In our school grants, what we're wanting to do is we want to do that incorporation of the whole school, whole community, whole child model. And we want you to tell us how you're doing all of these things. So what it is, and it's not hard. It's really just a matter of getting your wellness committee or your safe, healthy, fit committee, whatever you call your committee that you still have to have, make sure that, I don't know that anybody said that today, but despite what you hear, you have to have either a wellness committee or some kind of committee that's looking at your policies and assessing what's going on at your school site. So get that committee to help you. One of the things I tell the schools is that I always send them a checklist, and I send it in Word so that you can actually share it with your committee members. And as, say, the PE teacher is doing something that really meets that, they can take some pictures and write some documentation and include it on that document. And so when you actually go to apply for a school grant, it's a whole lot easier. Some of the other things that we do, scoot this over here since it's not, I don't know. Try it there. Okay. So some of the other things that we require for our first level grants, we do ask that you do 2 modules or 2 behaviors from the School Health Index. And I know somebody kind of alluded to that earlier today. The School Health Index is just a self-assessment of how your school is doing. It only looks at your site. It's not comparing you to anybody else. It's just what is your school doing, and what is it that is low cost, no cost, that you could do better to improve your school environment. And it's based on those original 8 categories of coordinated school health. I've heard that they're supposed to be releasing the new edition that's going to actually incorporate the 10 components that they've gone to now. We require the School Health Index for just the 2 modules for our first-star grants, 4 modules total for our 2-star grants, and we ask that you do the whole thing for our 3rd-level grants, 3-star grants. But once you really get into using School Health Index, I think you'll find that it's really not that hard, and a lot of schools will go ahead and zip through it and then just revisit it every year because you can always improve. For our 2nd level grants, we do ask that the PE teachers take a look at their PE curriculum, and that's through the PE curriculum analysis tool. And for our 3-star schools, we have them look at what their health education curriculum is. I know Darren today talked about the PE standards. If you didn't get, there's also health education standards that are out on the State Department of Ed's website. And once again, those are vertically aligned for the health education standards. And with that, there's also sample lesson plans. And most of those lesson plans are cross-cutting, so they kind of go across multiple different categories. So, it may be included in an English lesson or a social studies lesson. I think people get really afraid of health education, but it's really important to know that health education is really about teaching those children to, first off, be healthy, to be health literate. So where do they go to get good, accurate health information? And also, how do you advocate not only for yourself, but for others? So health education is not near as hard as I think as sometimes people make it out to be. So doing the HECAT kind of helps you look at where you are and what is it that you could do better also. Our incentive grants are open all year round for the eligible districts. Our Certified Healthy Schools applications will open again on August the 1st and close November the 1st. And it's certified, if you just Google Certified Healthy Oklahoma, you can find the website. And like I said, the health department, and Julie is the coordinator for that program. It's a sister program of ours. Our school grants are really based on that coordinated school health model that the certification is from. And a lot of the questions actually came from that School Health Index. So I'm kind of hoping that I'm showing you that things are really wrapping around. It's a matter of just getting all of those pieces, like Rochelle said, of the puzzle put together. So basically, that's it. Questions, and I'll go ahead and move to my contact information just real quick. So for the people who are out there on the live stream, my email address is sharonh@tset.ok.gov. So thank you very much. Please let me hear from you.